What role does your principles play in your decision making process when choosing a mate? Because of the depth of this topic, we might have to chop it up into two or three parts. But I wanted to start out by asking you to take inventory of your own principles. I was instructed by a very trusted advisor that I should not assume that people are very clear on what principles are. And this is in no way an indictment on your intellect or your intelligence. But I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. And I'm going to make reference to what fundamental principles are, kind of what they mean, so that we can go forward on the same page. The question is, what system are you using to choose your mate? I'm referring to your principles in general, the rules that you live by. What set of principles or rules do you use in the relationship or marriage that you are currently in? Now, principles are basically fundamental truths, if you will, that serves as a foundation for a system of your belief. And without getting too distracted using the word belief, I just want to ask this question: what does your belief system produce as it pertains to relationships to this point? What has your belief system produced? What outcome has whatever you believe produced as it pertains to relationships? What do you mean? I mean what you believe about yourself, what you believe about your mate, what you believe about the opposite sex. Your principles are what drives your behavior. And when I first started hashtag relationships, I gave you three words that were more powerful than the three words I love you. The three words that I offered to you was standards, behavior, and judgment. See, principles are what drives your behavior. Your principles, this is your the foundation for your chain of reasoning. That's why when I talk about principles and relationships, they have to go hand in hand. And if you're not exercising or using good principles when choosing a mate, then you get what you get, not what you want. I look around and I hear people saying, I want this type of man, or I want this type of woman, or I want this type of relationship. But let's be clear about this one thing. The real question is not what you want or who you are in love with. The real question is, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do without? And are you willing to do what it takes in order to achieve those outcomes? Because until you are willing to do what it takes, you will continue to get what you get and not what you want. If you understand principles this way, I think it would help you out quite a bit. When I say rules, I'm talking about something that is more of a governor or a governing system. People don't like to feel like they're being controlled. They don't like the feeling of being restricted. But we all need governing or government. And until we develop that, we're going to continue to get what we get and not what we want. A governor in the automobile industry is a device that is used to keep the automobile from either driving beyond a certain speed limit. It just automatically kicks in and you can only go so fast no matter how hard you press on the accelerator. And we all need that. Sometimes people refer to this as discipline. But discipline is not a place that you arrive at. It is something that you practice. And so are principles. That's why they're so necessary, whether you're in a relationship or not. So the question is not what you want. The question is, what do you need to correct? And it's not until you're willing to self-correct whatever that needs, that area in your life or your behavior that needs to be adjusted or changed or corrected, will you be able to make, or until you self-correct, will you be able to choose correctly? So I'm going to say that again. Until you practice the ability to self-correct, will you be able to develop the ability to choose correctly. I'm going to give you two more words to take with you pertaining to principles. And again, we're going to break this up into a couple of parts, but it doesn't matter which principles you choose or which principles you think you stand on. If these two words are not a part of your principles, then your principles absolutely mean nothing. And these two words are without exception. There are no set of principles that can govern you properly if every time you turn around you're making exceptions to those rules. So more powerful than I love you are standards, behavior, and using good judgment. Again, we're going to go to part 2, and we're going to break this thing down a little bit further. Remember, I'm only here to help because I want for you what I want for myself. I want you guys to be happy. I want you to be prosperous. I want you to be healthy. I want you to live a life of longevity and fulfillment. And above all these things combined, I wish upon you guys many, many blessings. And as always, my name is Jay Jackson. I'm looking forward to your response, and I'm looking forward to part 2.